What's the big old deal? You know who it is. It's Big Ghost. And we back. I got you another one, man. Yes, sir. So this one we on the Geraldo Rivera talk show. This is another talk show that was in the 90s. This wasn't one of the ones that I was kind of like in tune with growing up. But this definitely was one of the talk shows. But this one was one that they had more of a serious approach on topics. So you can understand why. Back in the '90s, this probably wasn't my cup of tea. I liked all that the excitement and the action. But I found this one. This is a good one. You see the topic. It's an ex KKK member that's talking about leaving the group. After he got involved with the KKK, and I guess being inside of it, he he started to rethink his decision of being a part of the organization. And this is a good topic to get on to as well, because I mean, as far as all type of gang organizations, is really for the growth, the growth of the membership. Even goes back to like with gangs, in out here in California. Gangs started, basically to the protection of the community. Back like in the late '60s, early '70s. So that basically was, basically just people in the neighborhood coming together to protect their neighborhood from outside sources. But as time grows, and the organization grows, it definitely always gets out of hand. With all gangs. Even the government is really considered as a gang. You know what I mean? I mean, who's the biggest bullies in the world? The United States. What I'm saying? We the biggest bullies, but not as far as being bullies. It's not us as the American citizens. It's really the organization, which is the government. You know what I mean? So it all trickles down in the same type of formation as a pyramid scheme. But like I said, it probably always starts off. I mean, it does always starts off with some type of outcome that's going to be beneficial to that group. But it always starts off as they're trying to make it a positive. Because even with the KKK, when they started their organization, it was a protection of the white race. So people that was being, the already, the I can't even think of the proper word. I want to say the Aryan Nation. It's basically it was to preserve. It was made to preserve their race. But as shit comes, as things go along in the world, it comes with death and what I mean, drugs, violence, extortion. It's all the same. What I mean, from the Italian mafia, what I'm saying, to so on and so on. So I'm just giving you my little bit of insight of what I know. And like I said, when I do these videos, I just click go and we on the go. It ain't no rehearsing. I don't have no notes jotted down of how I'm going to set up the timeline and all that. I'm just on the go, man. I'm just bringing you this content. But again, this is on the Geraldo Rivera talk show. Talk shows that we all grew up on. Yeah, man. So before I get it started, again, how's your day going? I woke up this morning feeling great. As you can see, I don't have any type of paraphernalia around, any type of blunts. So basically, this is day one of me not smoking no weed. All right, I wish I had the little effects right now. Be dip, 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 dip. We gonna get there though. We gonna get there. Don't want to trip. But yeah, man, it's day one. It's no weed. You know what I'm saying? And also, I just got some in the mail. Let me grab y'all so I can show y'all what I'm on. Hold on. Shit. Show y'all what I'm on, man. So, see there on that sea moss gummies. You know, so it come in. It's 30 in a bottle. I took one yesterday. Today is my second gummy I work up to. So basically, for the next 30 days, I'll be taking one in the morning. Then once I finish this bottle, I'm gonna advance and give me some more supplements that's what I mean good for the body. I'm starting my workout. I'm trying to get back on the ball, baby. You know what I'm saying? So let me bring you this content. And also too, man, I be having to fix my camera, man. This camera is like it's crazy. I be seeing it be having me like off to the side. So, I'm trying to figure out all the angles. Get this production up and running the right way. You know what I'm talking about? So let's get into this, man. Ex-KKK member talks about leaving the group, threatened by Klan members. You know, so that kind of remind me of, what I'm saying, blood in, blood out. Once you join the gang, ain't no way out the gang. And they serious about this. With the KKK. So let's see what the severity is with this person. And mind you, this is back in the '90s. You know what I mean, where it was law. Let's get into this.
The face of hate from one side of this country to the other, far too common a scene. The racists on our stage, these are members, obviously, of one of the Klan groups, and skinheads in our studio audience today are representatives of a frightening and still growing slice of American life, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, look at these people. These is KKK members. They got the little cone hats on. But look at their faces, though, man. They looking like some miserable people, though. That's a big old fact. Oh boy, right there in the black, he look like he a cold meth user.
These are the people who spew their racist venom, and as part of their continuing campaign of hatred and intimidation, some of them, not necessarily the people here, but some have desecrated religious institutions and cemeteries. They have terrorized neighborhoods. They have committed terrible acts of violence against minorities. So they and their representatives are here, but they are not our focus today. Backstage awaits a young man who is our focus today. He is 18-year-old Dominic Bruno. And Dominic is, in a way, the skinhead's worst nightmare because he is a traitor to their awful cause. To the rest of us, however, Dominic is a symbol of courage. He is a ray of hope in what I still think is a gathering cloud of hate.
So, boy, this is a dude right here. So he went through the rankings, became a KKK member. He was on the inside. He was trusted. He seen how the operations work. And now he's on the Geraldo Rivera show. And he about to let Geraldo know, what's going on the inside. And he wants out. This dude right here, he making his debut. He looking like he wanna He said, man, yeah, that route wasn't for me. He wanna go and work on his modeling career, see if he can get a deal with Victoria's Secrets or something. But let's see how this go though.
Hatred in our country. Now, before we meet Dominic, let's find out what some of the true believers think about his leaving the fold, leaving.
Assalamu alaikum. Are you a Muslim tired of seeing all these different business models and gurus selling you different
Hatred behind? Let's meet the Molly, our first guest, a member of the Aryan Racist Loyalist Party. It's a
Racial loyalist.
Racial loyalist, Cleveland, Ohio-based group. She says that a return to a Hitler-like dictatorship is the only cure
No, that's wrong, Geraldo. Mussolini.
Is better than Hitler. Okay,
I don't know if it's better, but
okay, a Mussolini-like dictatorship. Okay. Wendy sitting next.
Now you can tell by her demeanor that she be around a lot of evil motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, you can always tell by a person just, off the first 15 minutes of talking with someone, kind of like, or like what they into, unless a person hide it well, but you can see it's written all on their face. You know what I mean? She's not around a lot of happy people. So whatever her beliefs are, she believes strongly in what she believes in. And, it's making her a little bit hardened, to society. It's basically saying, what I mean, is, she believes in by any means necessary to push the agenda that she pushing. You know what I mean? And most of the time, like I said, it comes with violence, comes with extortion, anything, to better the organization. You could tell she's serious about what she believes in.
Her, just 18 years old, but a card-carrying member of the KKK organization from outside Atlanta, Georgia. Her infant child.
Oh, girl look miserable as hell, nigga. She looking like Ronald McDonald's daughter. She looking like, damn, what am I doing here right now? But obviously, she's a KK member too, or KKK. But like I said, man, this basically you can see this is real time, but you can see people living this lifestyle. They look miserable though. Oh, girl looks hella miserable.
That you and your husband Lamar have, right? You're raising him to be a white separatist or a supremacist? Okay. Also, their father, Jerry, is here. We have others in the audience. What do you think, Wendy? What do you think about someone who decides that you are racist and hateful and let me get out of here?
I could care less. The way I believe is the way I believe. I've always believed in separating races and being with your own kind, and I don't care what anyone thinks.
What do you think about someone who decides to give up the organization and leave it behind?
Well, that's their individual privilege, but when they become a traitor and turn over names, they should limp like they do in Ireland. Traitors deserve their fateful doom, which is...
What exactly are you saying? Be specific.
Specifically,
Yeah, man, so you can see, this is like a family of KKK members, and they believe in what they believe in. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about the strengthening of the Aryan nation. But just look at the expression on these people's faces, though, man. These are some miserable people. You know what I mean? And they all stick together, and they bounce their ideals off of each other, and they stay in their own world. But just, when you see them, like, you were some unhappy, miserable people. And it's written all over their face. So, and again, this is in the 90s. You know what I mean? We, like, today is, what's the date today? Today is March 8th, 2026. This is a show again in the '90s. So again, KKK is still, they still have an organization. It's definitely not as, it's definitely not strong. Well, definitely not here in California. But I'm pretty sure, they have, states that they're predominantly um, strength in numbers. But it's definitely not here in California. But again, I just want to put that out there, just like, just a bunch of miserable people. They pushing hate, they pushing separation of races. This is, here in California, California is considered the melting pot. With all diversity of people that have to coincide with each other. So when you run across people like this, usually they're standoffish. They really don't know how to relate to others, because they stuck in this time capsule. Yeah, but let's keep it going. Let's see what we got on this.
Traitors should pay for their treason.
And how would you make them pay?
Like Judas paid for his 30 pieces of silver, he should be hung somewhere.
Geraldo, that man leaving in the way that he did, if he would left in a more civilized manner.
Yeah, what old boy said, he said he should be hung somewhere. Now, just giving y'all the background on hanging, they've been hanging niggas, what I'm saying, since the beginning of time. It is what it is. I still hear on the news where kids is getting found in different states and they hanging from trees and people just trying to figure out like you know what I mean? Like why would he kill himself? But it all stems to being in a state that still, have that racial hate, and you still have people that's going out and performing these acts. Because at the end of the day, for you to do something like that, that's just pure hate. A lot of times when people's dying out here, losing their life is usually over money. Females is, stems behind it, because people can't handle their jealousy and their anger and their envy. But when you going out your way to do something just based on all sole purpose because of some of this, the color of somebody's skin, that's a different type of hate. So, and you can see it on these people's faces. Those are the type of people that's leading these people that we see right here on the Geraldo show, and just look at their faces. Their faces say it all. They all look miserable.
Then that's his own choice. But basically to betray the organization and turn in documents to the authorities, I think is just really disgusting.
Do you agree with this gentleman that he should be hung?
I think he should be punished.
How punished?
Punished? Define your definition of punishment.
You tell me, I'm listening.
My definition of punishment would be the punishment fit the crime.
I'm still waiting.
Beat him up or something, or ban him from any organization, and
Beat him
definitely
up.
do not let him back in if he would ever try to say, I'm sorry and I want to come.
Geraldo trying to get down to the bottom of it. He's like, so what you want to do? You want to hang him too? That's basically what you're trying to get to. Like, so what's the ultimate sacrifice to this punishment? He really wanted to say like that's what that's what y'all doing, just hanging people. But that's the reality though. You know what I'm saying? So the this is basically like this is a gang organization. It's no different. It's definitely like as far as how they conduct themselves. It's not like gang culture, but it's still You know what I mean? It still abide by the same rules. You break the rules, you know what I mean? You got to get disciplined. You know what I'm saying? And then when you want to go against the organization, that's when you exile. You know what I mean? And usually you know what I mean? There is punishment to it. You know what I'm saying? So even go, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes punishment is death. You know, and the crazy thing is all, you know, it's all on the drop of the, it's just all on the situation that you in. You know what I mean? Because it can go anyway. Because when people were ready to do away with you, you know what I mean? It's a wrap.
Come back, never let him back.
Oh, I doubt if he'd want to say that. All right, let's
Well,
meet him.
You never know.
Let's meet him now. Come on,
there are
Dominic.
people who want
Come on
to do
out.
that.
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, is a skinhead organizer. Dominic made lots of news locally. Once the spokesperson for the racist Nazi skinhead gang, the SS Action Group. Today, he lives in fear of his former racist cohorts. Okay, Dominic, are you frightened?
For the most part, really, you know.
Man, you can see the PTSD all in his face. You know, so this is a young cat that, like I said, he got inside the organization. And, you know what I mean? Obviously, it wasn't sitting right with his soul. But who knows what really has brought him to this point? You know what I mean? Maybe he was getting treated dirty. He felt that, you know what I'm saying? That he got the bad end of the stick and he was just like, you know, I'm done with this. You know, so he bold to be coming out on the talk show, you know, showing his face. Because everywhere he go, he pretty much going to be disowned from the organization that, you know, he once trusted in. You know, pretty much gave his life to. You know what I mean? So, you know, by Gerardo asking him, like, are you scared right now? Hell yeah, you scared. You know, them boys gonna hang him from a tree. Keep this going.
There are a lot of violent groups, especially in New Jersey. And, you know, you get some nutcase coming after you, but that's about it.
Now, why did you decide to give it up?
It's stupid. It's bringing everyone down, you know. This country, you know, the people ought to work together and help make society better. All this racist crap's just bringing us all down, starting a lot of trouble and ruining people's lives.
Actually, our betrayal.
That was the perfect answer, and that was the truth. Because again, what I tell you guys, look at all their faces. The ones that sitting up there holding up their membership of this KKK organization, they all look miserable. And they trying to keep this hate, you know, the separation going. But like old boy said, he already know it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's only obvious for the world to prosper. You know what I mean? Everybody has to come together. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you still have people that's in high places that want to make sure that, you know, they still hold their position in the world. And how they do that is, you know what I mean? They still have to have you know what I mean, the underworld foot soldiers do their job, you know, to keep this type of little criteria going. You know, but obviously your boy, he know what's going on. He obviously it's going against everything that he see. He just sees that, you know, he put himself in a bad position.
Prayers are more violent than we would ever act.
Yeah.
Ever.
Whatever.
Right?
Okay, Dominic, tell us about the catharsis that you went through. Now, back in November, you were on Fox News. Eric Shawn, the reporter, filmed you distributing leaflets. You were very much an organizer, very much a part of the organization, very much filled with hatred. Was that feeling not genuine? Is this the real you?
No, it was genuine for then. You know, I guess I kind of grew up. You know, back then it was like something to do. Everyone thinks you're cool, and you know, it's hip to be racist these days. Man, you know, it's stupid.
And you get to
but
wear
it's
the
the way
big
things
boots.
are.
You get to have the nifty hairdo, and
Well, I'm still a skinhead, you know.
there are racist skinheads and non-racist skinheads. I know
Most
that.
skinheads are not racist.
Okay, let's talk about.
He said he's still a skinhead, but he's not a racist skinhead. That's the first time I ever heard that. But this is from the horse's mouth, though. He letting you know that he is still a skinhead, which is considered a group of people, I guess. You know what I mean? Skinheads. But he is not the racist skinhead. So basically, you can find a skinhead out here, but he'll be like, I'm a skinhead, but I'm not a racist skinhead. All right. But seeing what he said, though, he was like, when I started it, I just wanted to be cool. Like again, a lot of people be wanting to be a part of something. That's the reason why a lot of these kids join gangs. You know what I mean? They don't have a proper father figure in their life. Every man wants every boy growing into a man. One. I mean, we all look up to somebody. You know what I mean? It's always something that we look up to that we look and be like, okay, I wanna be like that. You know what I mean? But when you're young, I mean, it's not always the best choices that you make as far as moving forward in life. And again, it plays what plays a part is just not having, you know what I mean, those male figures in your life. So you go out and look for them, and a lot of times you will find it from the outer source, and you will find yourself, you know, in a situation like old boy right here. So that's basically what it is. He joined the KKK because he wanted to be a part of something. Then when he was doing it, they probably was giving them all the praises, and he was like, this is what we want. We want people to acknowledge us of what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like we're going in the right direction. I know the feeling. So basically, he found himself to where going through the motions somewhere along that time, he was just like, this not for me. So that he find himself here on the talk show, letting people know that he's no longer part of the KKK. But he said he's still a skinhead, though. Keep this going.
Your racist activities. What kind of things were the SS Action Group into?
Mainly putting out flyers and going to rallies. We weren't like other groups. We didn't go out beating people up or doing anything like that.
Let me just ask Eric Shawn, the reporter who is here in our front row. When you first discovered Dominic, what was he doing?
They were putting up posters with the SS Action Group, which is one of the groups in New Jersey, and the poster that they were hammering up said 6 million more, and that is obviously a reference to calling for another Holocaust.
6 million more, Dominic?
Yeah, that poster, even by the ideology I had then, was.
I want to stop it because they said something about the SS, and that SS is, a symbolization of the KKK. But this just had me thinking of a remembrance in my life where I actually, it wasn't like I was dealing with like real hate, but it was, it was hate. It was a time when I was in the fitness industry. I started off in LA Fitness, started working for LA Fitness, got into management, but I got into it, you know what I'm saying? So along my journey, I stopped working for LA Fitness. I ended up being a general manager. And then, like at that time, I was closing. So, I ended up closing my, what was it? What was my VP. My VP at the time, you know what I mean? Because I was actually working at the Long Beach LA Fitness on Carson and Cherry. But I was killing it though. I was killing it every week. I was a weekend manager. But they was promoting all these new girls that was coming in. And I'm like, man, why is they giving all these new girls that ain't even been in the company for like longer than 2 months, and they just got these fucking general manager positions? It's crazy. I'm sitting here every week killing it, doing like 120% weekends, 105% weekends. So I got to the point where I just told the general manager of the club at the time. It was JT. I told him like, look, I said, man, I could just be a regular sales counselor and still make the same money, and I don't even have to have all this responsibility. He was like, yeah. He was like, well, you ain't. He told me like, well, you're not gonna be working here, whoop de whoop or something. But at that time, I was on my high horse, so I ended up low key telling him like, man, I don't want to be the sales manager no more. I remember that was at that Friday. Took that weekend, went to Vegas with this little broad I had cracked at the club. Drove her little Charger all the way out there. You know what I'm saying? Did it up all weekend. You know what I'm saying? So as Sunday came, I'm pretty much getting ready to come back to the city. I get a text from my VP. He was like, "You want the spot in Fountain Valley?" I said, "What do you mean you want the spot?" Mind you, he texted me. I said, "Damn," in my mind, I'm like, "Damn, this dude texting me about a general manager spot." I said, "Man, this is gonna be the easiest close I ever close somebody. Like, you can't even call me on the phone and talk to me like a man. You gonna text me?" I said, "Man, it's about to be the easiest close ever." So he texted me. I texted back. I said, "Yeah, I want the spot." But me being in the company, I know that they'll put you in a position as a general manager, but you'll be an acting general manager. You'll be working for like 2 months, just getting regular pay, but you playing the role as a general manager, but you're not getting paid for it. So, I already knew a couple cats that got put in these positions. So I knew off the back. I said, okay. I said, yeah, I want the spot. I said, but only way I'm gonna go is I said is when I go, I'm getting paid off the back as a general manager. So I texted him back about 5, 10 minutes later. It was like, okay, you got the spot. I'll see you on Monday at 8 o'clock. Mind you, I'm coming back from Vegas that Sunday morning, so I'm like, damn. I said, I done Friday. I told my GM that I was pretty much done. Like, I don't even want to be a general manager no more. So in my mind, I'm feeling like, I'm closing the whole situation. It's going my way. So boom, come back. I'm getting ready. You know what I'm saying? Putting on, Monday morning, putting on my best tie. My shirt. Boom. I'm at Fountain Valley, walking in the spot as a GM on my high horse. Man, that's when all the hell begun, for sure. Obviously, I already know Fountain Valley was a shitty club. Fountain Valley is a city of like where the retired people go and live. So it's not like a really a popping city. You know what I mean? But they do have youth that grow up in Fountain Valley, but for the most part, they not partying in Fountain Valley. So when I started, man, I was pretty much like I had to work damn near 7 days a week. Man, I only lasted like for 4 months for sure. That was the last 4 months of my stay at LA Fitness. So long story short, boom, I go, I find my way into a gym in Huntington Beach, Gold's Gym. And originally, like when I started working at LA Fitness, I knew a couple cats that I kept in contact with. And one of my boys was working for Gold's Gym in East LA at the Commerce. The gym now, I think they got it turned into like a 24-hour storage center. But before then, it was a 24-hour Gold's Gym. You know what I mean? And it was some Italian, Mexican cat that was running it. And for sure, he was, lights was being cut off. Every time it was time to get paid, I go try to cash my check. The checks would bounce. So I was like, man, I got to get up out of here. But, at the time, he was paying the bills. I'm living in Westminster at the time. So me living in Westminster, it was a Gold's Gym. And not too far from there, it was in Huntington Beach. So I started working out there, and I was politicking, working out. Boom, I had my little shape. Go in there, talk to the managers. Like, yeah, I work at the Ghost Gym in the new one they got out there in Commerce. Yeah, yeah, I work out there. My boy's a GM out there. I was making it seem like everything was cool, but I was out there dying though. But I was making it look like I was the man over there, which I was. I was selling memberships. You know what I mean? I was all on Atlantic Boulevard with all the racist Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Pulling up like, who the fuck is this nigga that's over here, all in East LA, just swagging? But if not, it wasn't all of them. But what I mean, it was. I had a couple confrontation with with some gang members over there. But I was working though. You know what I mean? So when I go to work, I'm not in the mind frame. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, I'm working. But anyways, long story short, I end up going to the Gold's Gym in Huntington Beach. Boom, landed that job. And it was a cat that was working there by the name of Sean Stifler. And it's crazy because his initials was the SS. And I ain't gonna lie, this little dude, he was a white boy, but he used to he always put the little SS in we had like this little book where we had to jot down like pretty much like the new members and everything, and he always put his little initials with the SS, but he would put it like in the little way of the KKK, like, you know what I'm saying, like the little lightning bolts SS. But it's crazy though because you know what I mean, it just lets you know that he was white though, you know what I'm saying? So he was pretty much, I'm pretty sure he wasn't from the organization though, but he was broadcasting it, kind of trying to tell me like, yeah, you know what I mean, you in Huntington Beach, this is my fucking city. You know what I mean? So I dealt with that being in Huntington Beach too as well. But it was a great club. I was working at the time. Fucking what's that one actor name? Damn, I can't even think of her name right now, man. But she used to work out there. She was with Jesse James. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because Jesse James had a bike shop out here in Long Beach. You know what I mean? What was old girl's name, man? It'll come back to me. But I'm pretty sure Jesse James was married to the actor. Damn, I can't think of her name right now, but it'll come back to me. But yeah, I was there after all the scandals when they was on. I remember Jesse James used to come to the gym early in the morning. He used to have his hoodie on, and then it was probably like that next week they was all on the news. Jesse James cheating on damn, why can't I think of this lady's name, man? Damn, it come back to me. But you know who I'm talking about? Jesse James and Whoop De Whoop. I can't think. It's like, man, my brain is just going blank right now. I can't think of her name. But it come back to me though. But yeah, I work. I've been all around the world, man. But it just talking about this subject just reminds me of that one cat, Sean Stifler. Hey man, shout out to Sean though, man. If you watch this, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, we all trying to get this money, big dog. I ain't gonna lie though, that little dude used to piss me off though. I would be like, man, I'm about to put hands on this dude outside the parking lot. Let's keep this going.
It was a mistake, Really, there's no excuse for that one.
But was your idea to terrorize people, to frighten, to insult people?
Let's get a rise out of people.
Okay. Get the video ready. We have the video from Fox. Let's see Dominic before he went through his transformation. Roll it.
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Where vibe coding meets...
We first met Dominic Bruno one night last fall as he hammered his message of hate on a tree in a New Jersey park. The teenage neo-Nazi seen here on the right called for another Holocaust. 6 million more read one of his shocking signs, the oath of a young Nazi skinhead. who for 4 years preached bigotry and hatred. As he told me, his was a calling based on love of the white race.
We must secure the existence of our people.
See what they say. I apologize. My sinuses be getting to me. You see what he said? He pushing the bigotry and hatred. So you got people that's pushing hatred. It's gonna show on their face. It's like if all you do is you pushing hatred. That's all that's coming out your heart. That's what's going to show from your outer core. That just goes back to, like I said, all the people that we seen that had the little costumes on, saying they from, the KKK. They all look miserable.
In the future for white children.
Do you see your movement and what you believe in as a movement of hate?
Nah, it's based on love of our race, so that makes us haters. Then we'll hate as much as we have to.
Obviously, Dominic, I assume you still love the white race, or do you see your race now as the human race?
I'm colorblind, you know.
That boy said he colorblind. He said he Theo from 92.3 to B. Hey man, I like that response though.
Not to get into the Holocaust issue or anything, but I just want to bring up one point. That 6 million was first 12 million, then it went down to 9 million, and now it's 6 million. Okay. And they weren't killed.
Have you seen Schindler's List yet? I want you to see that. I want to take you someday and put a seatbelt on you and make you watch that movie.
I don't
sitting over there.
Mr. Frankhauser, the man who said that you should be hung.
The movement for being an informer. I don't know where he gets off calling me Judas.
Oh, am I an informer? When was I ever accused and by whom?
Just about everyone.
If I was an informer, I'd be dead, just the way you ought to be.
Well, I'm not.
I'm head of the Klan Bureau of Investigation, the Secret Service.
Yeah, a Klan that no one has anything to do with.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with it. We hunt out traitors like you.
Oh boy said he a part of the Klan Bureau Investigation. He didn't say the FBI. He said the KBI. This dude look like he got a couple bodies under his belt for sure. Big pig feed motherfucker. You can tell, oh boy, he's serious. He's serious about what he's serious about.
Hunt me then. You'll get a surprise.
What's the surprise? What do you do? Turn your coat again?
Dominic, do you remember exactly when you decided to leave?
It wasn't really a conscious decision. It was like an evolution of my thoughts over like a 2-month period.
Were you embarrassed by what you were doing?
Now I am, yeah. You know, something I just like put behind me.
You made the decision to leave, but you decided to stay in the organization to gather as much information as you could. Tell me about that.
Well, for the most part, it was because, you know, I had this big part in starting a lot of stuff up. And I wanted to do something to set the record straight and calm things down again. That was like the main reason why I did it.
But you also, did you not got a list of your former colleagues together, the names, the addresses, some of the activities of the group?
Yeah.
And to whom did you give that information?
Any anti-racist organization that contacts me will get a copy.
And Frank, what do you think about that?
I think that's typical of an informant and a rat. And I'm sure that Nicky Scarfo and the
oh boy, OG Bobby Johnson, he like, yeah, he's a traitor and a rat. He needs to be hung. Oh boy, serious about everything he's saying. They up in there, man. Inside the building, they got glasses on, they got shades on. Man, all I can say, man, these some miserable people though. That's a fact.
all the boys that send their best to you. Rats deserve the sort of thing you're going to get.
Excuse me.
You have to live with yourself, and that's worse.
Dominic, are you worried about these kinds of threats, or do you think it's just empty boasts from
They're
an old
joke,
man?
This entire movement's a joke.
Over a period of 2 months, decide something like.
I wonder if old boy's still alive. Because he bold to come out and go against the whole organization the way he doing. Then he like, man, they a joke. Now, mind you, just back in the 90s, though, you see old boy that's sitting next to the fat dude. He look like he look like he got bodies too. Like he like, man, I ain't even doing no talking. Just let me know when I gotta go in and get the job done. I gotta do some research, man, see if old boy's still alive. If he's still walking the land freely. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he got a lot of flack after going on this show and making the stance that he made. Then saying that they a joke. Power, man. And, my computer cut off on me. But yeah, man. I'm trying to figure out who the other people that's sitting up there with the glasses on. Oh boy got the fake beard on, like he really trying to hide his identity. So, just looking at it, you probably think this ain't really serious though. But with old boy being in the hot seat, I just wonder how the outcome went for him after he did this little this debut.
Like that you supposedly had been so dedicated to. It takes longer than 2 months to decide any big decision like that.
Because I grew up.
It's not growing up.
Yeah,
We'll hear much more about Dominic, but you should know that he's not alone in the sense of being a defector. There are many more in this movement. Although they are gaining strength day by day, there are those who are maturing and getting out of the group.
If you were sexually abused while at school or school activity as a child, you may be entitled.
The Ku Klux Klan is the most notorious white supremacist.
Yeah, so I guess that was the ending of that one. Yeah, man. So I had to bring another one to you, the Geraldo Rivera show. You see, this one was definitely different than all the other talk shows that I brought to you. But this one again, this was on the KKK. And I think I'm gonna end it here. But again, man, you see all the people that was there that was upholding the organization, man. How did they all look? They all look miserable. You know what I mean? So all hate breeds is more hate. So you gotta think about the kids that they having, and they raising them the way they living. They just gonna be more. You just raising little miserable people, be miserable like you, and you keeping them away from the world because for you to have this outlook on other races, it's gonna be hard for you to integrate with other people because you got this cold mental block. You know, because it was instilled in you from birth. So this, basically, I want to say this is like this is like the scum of the earth. But then again, you still have the 1%ers that also feel really strongly like this, but they just, they projecting it in a different type of way though. And when I say the 1%ers, I say the people that's really running the world. You know what I mean? You'll be surprised how many people want to keep up the division and the hate. Just all on the one goal of of somebody's certain race staying on top at the end of the day. So I think this is a topic on racism. And racism is real. You know, but love always prevails. You know what I mean? And like I said again, the KKK, you know, we probably got a few that's out here in California, but again, they definitely not thriving out here in this state because, you know, like I said, this is the melting pot, man. It's all kind of races, it's all kind of ethnicities, cultures, you know, so it's kind of hard for you to be a racist and stand out, you know, in this state. You know what I mean? Because you know you're gonna kind of look like an outsider at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, man, you know, racism is definitely real. You know, I just wanted to bring you another one, man. So, man, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. Go ahead and hit that hype button too, man. Hype your boy up. I got more content to bring you, but I just definitely wanted to bring you a new one. And this is the Geraldo Rivera Show. Yes, sir. Yeah, and also you see, I mean, it's just like a gang affiliation, the same thing. You see, old boy talking, he was like, yeah, you know, cause rats and traitors they get dealt with. Old boy was serious about it. You could tell he got a few enforcers, you know, and I mean, you know, the KKK, you know, it's you know, it's an organization that's probably, you know, what I mean, they've been trying to thrive just like all other gangs. You know, it's kind of all the same criteria, you know. But when you running off of just pure hate and bigotry, the results is people that we just seen on this show, just just pure miserable people. You know what I mean? And we gonna conclude it on that note, man. And again, man, make sure that you know what I'm saying you hug your neighbor, you love your neighbor. You know what I mean? Keep positivity in the world. You know what I'm saying? And put a smile on your face, man. You know who it is though. It's Big Ghost. We booming. Talk to me nice, mommy.